Yes, Packer fans, the Packers won the game. It was a great game, but they won by the smallest of hairs on a nightstick, and it really should have lost if it wasn't for Carolina's lack of getting the ball or just clear lack of time management at the end. They could have very well won and probably should have, because the Packers had this game. They had a game. They were up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but just kept messing up. And I don't know what kind of defense Joe Barry was running at the time, but it's just clear he needs to go. Joe Barry needs to go like tomorrow. And if it wasn't for the Packers winning this game, I would argue that the Packers just leave him in Charlotte and let him find his own way home because he is trash. But let's get into it. The Packers win the game. Let me know what you think down below. But let's get into it. Jordan Love didn't have the best game today, but he did win. Didn't have any turnovers, but was efficient. Made a couple of good throws at the end, especially that one to Romeo Doubs on third down to get the first down. And yes, there are going to be some Panther fans out there saying, "Oh, he didn't catch the ball. He didn't complete the pass. He rolled over." Yes, the ball, as he was rolling, the ball was slipping. He wasn't have it fully in chest, but his back was on the ground for 3 seconds. Ball wasn't moving, and then he just rolled over, and the ball just kind of touches the ground a little bit. If the NFL was going to say that's not a catch, then we'll never know what a catch is ever. It's good that the NFL decided that it was a catch. The refs decided that it was a catch because it was a catch. There's no doubt that it was a catch. Now, Aaron Jones had a good game as well. Amazingly, he just looked all world today. A.J. Dillon, limited as he was able to make some good runs here and there, of course. The Packers still, like I said, struggling on defense. Just struggling. They make good plays, but today, Bryce Young looked like the future starter that we all thought he could be. He was able to pass the ball down the field. They were able to run like nobody's business, and the Packers couldn't stop them at times. And inevitably, the Packers won by 33-30, but it was by the narrowest of margins. Again, why are we playing prevent defense or whatever that was that he was calling, leading 33-30 with 19 seconds left? Why are you playing prevent defense? Why are you playing prevent defense? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. They continue to do this. What is Joe Barry doing? And I've heard reports with Matt LaFleur that Joe Barry's still on the team because he doesn't trust anybody else to call the plays on defense. That is a damning statement. That is a damning statement to have Joe Barry continue to be the defense coordinator simply because you don't have anybody that you trust, because Joe Barry has never had a good defense or never called good defense. Yes, he had success in LA, but look at all the stars he had. A lot of good stars can make bad defense coordinators look feasible, look passable. And again, the Packers do have a lot of stars in the making, but it's just they get yards and yards and yards, mainly just because of the scheme. It is, to be honest, but the Packers did win, so that's a good thing. At the bottom line, the Packers won. The Lions beat the Vikings, so that's definitely a good plus. Seattle won, so that sucks. Atlanta won, so that sucks. Indianapolis, what happened? You scored the first touchdown, and then after that, just nothing, just absolutely nothing. And Atlanta, it's gonna fool everybody thinking, oh, Atlanta's still good. No, Atlanta's trash. They're garbage. They're not gonna make the playoffs. But the Packers can still make the playoffs. Still got some work to do. Still need some help. But I was listening to the Packer game on the radio today, and when I heard that Jair Alexander was playing, the local girl on the radio had a joke saying like it's a Christmas miracle that Jair Alexander is playing in the game, and it is a true Christmas miracle, to be sure, because he's missed so many games, and you're just maybe people just calling him out that finally decide to play a game because just you're paying these guys millions of dollars and they're not doing anything. But another reason why the Packers struggled today, penalties. Penalties. And it started off on the get-go in the first Panthers drive. Although the Panthers did not score. They did not score. The roughing the kicker call. Devin White had a bunch of offsides and other penalties. Isaiah McDuffie had a personal foul. Then Lucas Van Ness. Yeah, Lucas Van Ness had that one. And there's an unfortunate helmet-to-helmet hit on the Panthers, one of the Panthers' final scoring drives against Anthony Johnson. Which he made a good play. He made a good tackle. Just hit him a little bit too high in the head. And, I mean, they weren't just not going to call that. Packers did get away with a penalty today. Packers, there was a scuffle towards the end of the fourth quarter. And the guy totally got pushed way out of bounds. And then the Panthers got in a fight and got a penalty. But they still ended up scoring anyway. But again, lots of penalties today kept the Panthers' drives alive. Bad defense kept drives alive. And just Bryce Young, yes, he was under pressure a lot. And he got sacked a couple of times. But there were many times where he was just able to roam around the pocket. He looked like he played at Alabama at times today. Now, there's still a lot of work to do for the Panthers for sure. And it's going to be tough without a first round pick this year. But we know Bryce Young can play. Bryce Young can definitely play. It's just a matter of having pieces around him. And the Packers certainly made Bryce Young look like he can be the star that we all think he could be. And that's not a good sign. Packers should have won this game going away. They started off so hot, but they just kept extending drives and allowing the Panthers to stay in the game. And just, it was bad at times. It just really was. It's just not good defense. Just playing, again, like I said in my previous videos the past couple of weeks, playing off your wide receivers, just giving them yards and yards and yards, and then hitting them. Yeah, it's great now if you stop them. But if you're continuously giving up 10, 15, 20 yards at a time, it's going to catch up to you. And eventually, they're going to score. And the Panthers scored in bunches today. Even though Carolina had many chances, or Packers had many chances where they could have just put the boot on the throat of the Panthers, just said, no, you're done, you're not coming back. But there are just a couple of offensive drives where they didn't score anything or didn't move the ball at all. That allowed the Panthers to have hope. Fortunately, the Packers still won, so that's a good thing. But lots of things to work on for the defense. And to be honest, we know they have the players. We know they have players that can play. Goody had a great draft on the defense this year. A lot of players have worked out so far, and last year as well. And it's just the coaching is just not there. And to be honest, Matt LaFleur should probably go as well. Probably not. It's probably not going to happen this year, especially if they make the playoffs. They'll probably get one more year. And I've maintained this throughout the whole year that unless it's like the Packers end up like 2-15. 3-14, something like that, Matt LaFleur is not going to find his way out of Green Bay. He will find his way out of Green Bay probably at the end of next year when Mark Murphy steps down as president after his 15-year emeritus, and a new president steps in, probably brings in a new GM depending on how Goody does in this year's draft. Although he has had a couple of good drafts the past couple of years, just in a couple plus, but. And Matt LaFleur will probably be gone after next year if they don't make massive progress. And I think they just need new coaching. They need a Dan Campbell. They need a Kyle Shanahan. They need somebody. And I know there's not a lot of coaches out there like that, but Packers need somebody like that to get the most out of some of the players they have, because they have some dogs on the defense. They have some dogs on the offense that know how to play well. They play with heart. They play with soul. And that's why they are doing so well. Like Dontavian Wicks is doing very well. He's continually to grow. Wow. First round Christian Watson is nowhere to be found again. Oh, my hamstring hurt too much today. Frankly, I like Christian Watson. He's a good player, but frankly, they should try and get whatever parts they can get for him. Send him on his way. Let somebody else deal with him, because he's just too much of an injury risk. I know there's people out there saying like, oh, he could catch on somewhere else. Like, yes, that's true, but is he ever going to get over the hamstring issue that he clearly had? Or just some players just have that hamstring issue where no matter what, no matter how much they stretch out, matter how much they stay in shape, hamstring issues are always going to be an issue, and it clearly has happened to Christian Watson. But again, at the end of the day, the Packers win. The Packers beat the Panthers. They move one step closer to a potential playoff berth and the real possibility of playing Detroit in wildcard weekend and doing what they did in the early 90s and beating the Lions. That's a real possibility that they can beat the Lions again this year if they play them in the playoffs. Don't look past that game. That would be an amazing thing for both the franchises if that were to happen. But Packers win. Yes, lots of things to work on. Joe Barry definitely needs to go. But let me know what you think of the game. I may have picked it wrong, but it wasn't by a 3-point spread, so I got that right. And just let me know what you think. Have a great day. God bless. Go Pack Go, and Merry Christmas.